Do you think Punk has any issues with that audience? Because it's very different. Let me say I recognize that right away. But the Ultimate Warrior was away a couple of years or a few years, and he came back in 96. That first time out, monster pop. He was, in a lot of people's eyes, the big draw of that WrestleMania. And then the more you saw him, the more you realize he's changed and the wrestling's changed. Both went in different directions, and they're never going to meet in the middle again. Punk hasn't been there in a long time. There are a lot of things that are the same. We don't know what he's going to be in the ring. We don't know what he could do physically. I mean, I'm not saying he's messed up or anything, but he hasn't been in a ring in a long time that we know of, or at least hasn't worked a match publicly. Does he have anything to worry about with a very fickle fan base if he's not working at a level they anticipate?
Well, for one thing, he wrestled for 15 years, right? And then he's taken 7 years off. So he's actually, you can stay in shape. And obviously he has the means and the access to get in a ring if he wants to, if he feels he needs to not in front of people, but to work out the ring shape, the ring cardio. It's not like I wouldn't think he's a person that's probably gotten that overweight. But the point is, the Warrior was different because the Warrior was purely a gimmick on the surface of things. And people's taste in gimmicks had changed. He hadn't watched any wrestling, and he couldn't do the shit he couldn't do the wrestling that they were doing when he was on top, Warrior. So he certainly couldn't do the kind of wrestling they were doing when he came back. It was a gimmick. Punk can work, but more importantly, Punk can talk. And whereas Daniel Bryan's going to be a massive fucking babyface to this crowd, and he's going to go in there and he's going to want to have every style of match from soup to nuts with everybody he's never gotten in the ring with, and he'll enjoy it. And I'm sure he'll be the one to embrace the comedy wholeheartedly or the modern style or whatever, because it's not that he's happy to be there because he needs a job. He's happy to be there because that's what he likes doing. With Punk, I believe that he's one that could probably stir that audience up to fucking violence. They might fucking bring the fucking house down for him when he first arrives, obviously, just like they did for Cena, because they missed him because he went away. But Punk can talk well enough, and Punk could pull the fucking, I've been the biggest star in the biggest company. I told the son-in-law he was the one that needed to work with me instead of me working with him. But does that make me a hero to you people? It probably does, and it should, because I'm better than all of you. I'm better than everybody in this company. I came back because Tony Khan groveled on his hands and knees and literally told me that he would pay me more money than I've never ever known that the federal government printed before. So I can come here and lower myself to deal with you fucking people, to deal with you fans, to deal with these jack-legged outlaw mud show goofs in the locker room. I know I'm doing my promo now, but you get the fucking drift in Punk's delivery. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this for about a year. And then I'm going to go back home and to my successful wife who writes comic books and screenplays. And I'm going to fucking never be seen again in public by you wretched refuse of humanity. Because that's the way I like it. Ha ha ha. If he did that, he'd have fucking people waiting for him in the parking lot, because Punk can say things, whether he means them or not, in the course of a promo that you believe he means them. And he might even have some fucking material to work with there, with the Cucamonga kids and anybody else that he might not be particularly fond of as people. He could cut them up like fucking gutted fish verbally. So you could really do either with him. He could be a heel, or naturally he's going to be a natural babyface because he's a star coming in, and AEW got the guy that Vince couldn't get to come back. So they're going to want to like him, but he might not want to be liked. He might see an opportunity to go in here and create more stir than anybody else is by actually making them genuinely dislike him, and not just in the haha, we're playing along with the show because we're smart way that they boo the other heels. But like, fuck you, motherfucker. You aren't too good for us, because you know they're sensitive. There's some sensitive people over there on both sides of the barricade in AEW. What do you think, Brian?
I don't think they want real heat, and I don't know how much real heat you get from that crowd. A guy jumped the rail not because there was any heat, but because he was a nutbag. And, we'll talk a little bit later about what some people are calling an instance of heat and what other people are calling smart fans just being disrespectful or being embarrassing. I mean, I've seen various things across the board, but I don't think heat is something they're looking for nowadays.
I wonder if Punk would be looking for it.
Maybe.
Here's the thing: did Punk said he didn't want to come back to the WWE and be another guy doing shitty television? How are they going to tell CM Punk what to do? By the very fact that more people are interested in seeing him come back or knowing where he's going to come back or when he's going to come back or what he's going to do than almost anybody else, I would say, okay, you brilliant wrestling performer, I got another artist on the roster. If you're such a brilliant wrestling performer, what do you want to do? How do you want to be different? How do you want to get people to talk about you and my program? You never know. Is it does Tony Khan negotiate on money? Is he going to tell CM Punk or Daniel Bryan, either one, how the fuck they should be presented and whether they should be a babyface or a heel and what they should do? Would he present? I mean, I know he's been Booker of the Year, and I know he's been writing his own television program for 2 whole years now. And we've talked about the successful cohesiveness of that plan, but is he now going to be telling these guys what to do? What if he got Steve Austin to come in? Hey, Steve, fuck the shit you were doing with the beer drinking and the fucking stunner and everything. I got another gimmick I think would be perfect for you. How far would that go? I think Punk could tear that fucking television program up. Or he can be another guy doing bad television.
I mean, we shall see. It'll be interesting. Do you align Punk with Bryan if they're both coming in around the same period of time, or do you keep them completely separate?
Fuck no. Why would Jesus Christ? That would be the exact opposite of Dusty's put everybody in Paul Jones's army against Jimmy Valiant so we keep the fucking entertainment match all in one place to a minimum. No, then if you've got those two mega stars, don't tell the people what their relationship is with each other. Bring them in from the opposite sides of the building and let them interact with everybody else before they meet in the middle. Because then you won't know what their relationship is or what might happen or whatever.
See, the problem is with Tony as a booker, I've said it before, he's a good matchmaker. It's easy not to dismiss the job of a matchmaker, but right now it's easy to pencil in several matches that would work. Bryan versus Omega, Punk versus Omega, Punk versus Cody, Bryan versus Cody. I mean, there are several guys there. You elevate one or two of the younger guys. There are several matches there. The issue is going to be the week-to-week booking, getting from one thing to another. The match will draw. People will be interested. People will want to see it. The booking week-to-week will probably do nothing to persuade or dissuade anyone from buying it. But it's not going to be good. That's what I'm afraid of. We'll get really good Bryan Danielson matches, and there'll be some really bad backstage segments like we've seen with fucking Christian. Christian's kind of a litmus test for everything we're about to see. Unless these guys, and Punk said before he doesn't really want to book. Didn't he say in an interview he kind of just wants someone to tell him what, he wants to do something that someone tells him to do that he would actually want to do. Isn't that kind of what he said?
Oh, God, now that you put me on the spot, there was some quote in that he was like, well, why should I have to come up with this shit? Based on that their job. But I mean, could he look at it like a well-paying hobby? If he puts the thought into just what he's doing, then he'll make a bunch. I don't know. If he's going to put his life, career, fortunes, etc., in the hands of somebody else, then I wouldn't think that he would go to this company to do that. I would only think he would want to be hands-on.
If you were going to wait to give Punk a premium match, if you were going to fuck up Punk like you did whatever you were trying to do with Christian, And Punk's smart. I don't think Punk's
By the way, he ain't out working everybody these days. He's just out talking to everybody, Christian. He never wrestles anymore. He just talks for other people.
If they'll do business with each other, would you do something with Punk and Cabana?
No.
Because people know there's a history and they had a big falling out. And
people know. You know what? That reminds me of a Bill Watts memo that I still have a copy of here that I got in 1984. He started out by saying, "Gentlemen, I know that you are all superstars and that, quote, all the people know, unquote, about the stipulations, backstories, etc. But," and then the point of the memo was remind people on your interviews and your promos. Don't fucking just dangle that shit. Remind them over and over. With all the people that know are all the people that are already watching, or they certainly already know about the program and they've made a conscious decision not to watch it. Colt Cabana, and this is not even disrespectful to him, this is just stating a fact, has been presented as a guy running around in a group of goofs for months and months and months. Has he wrestled on the television program in the last year, maybe longer? I know he's been on YouTube, I'm sure, because they're sending him a check, so he's got to do something. But you know what? No. They have not even presented any wrestler, whether Colt Cabana or anyone else, that's been presented the way that Colt has been presented in that group and over the last. No, he wouldn't. He would be walking up to CM Punk to get his autograph, if anything. That'd be just ridiculous. And I don't even see what. And then also, you to fucking talk Punk into coming to work for you. Then, by the way, a former friend of yours that you guys have had a falling out and who knows who stabbed who and did what, work with him. Fuck you. What? No, I'm sure that's another example of, I'm sure that might be a thing that Tony Khan would have thought of, because that's what a fan would think of. And not even, I won't say a fan, a mark would think of. It's mark booking. But no, okay, we did the test on the YouTube views, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan. What if we did one that says, is Colt Cabana thinking of leaving AEW? I mean, I know anything with my name on it will get listens, but do you think that would do 10,000 views?
Probably, at least. Probably, well, significantly more than that. That would be the very, very minimum if I dropped it in the middle of the night on a holiday or something. All
right, I know, but still, but that just because it's on our channel and we have so many 100,000 subscribers. Anyway.
But, a lot of people have been saying, with Punk returning, they haven't seen him in the ring in a long time. The last time we saw him do anything physical was the UFC, different training. He was obviously at a lower weight for that. But a lot of people were saying that with him coming back, he's got to really take his training seriously. And, of course, that starts with a good breakfast.
A good, healthy breakfast. And, folks, if you're a person who needs a good, healthy breakfast in your life, then I refer you to our fine friends at Magic Spoon. And, of course, the tweets have been coming, people tweeting the boxes of Magic Spoon, the custom bundles. We love that. The sponsor loves that also. Keep retweeting those and testifying and giving testimonials to how great this stuff is, because it is the world's healthiest and most delicious cereal. No carbs, no sugar, no junk. You can feed this to kids and not even be picked up by the authorities. Folks, 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving, 140 calories a serving, keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb, and GMO-free. Whether the cocoa, the fruity, the frosted, the peanut butter, the blueberry, or the cinnamon, or all of them, just go to magicspoon.com/Jim. You can buy what you want, or you can just pick out a bundle. You can do whatever. Get all those flavors. And use the promo code JIM, J-I-M, at checkout and take $5 off your order. Magic Spoon's so confident, it's backed with the 100% happiness guarantee. If you don't like it for any fictitious reason, there can't be a real reason not to like this fine cereal, but they will refund your money, no questions asked. Me, I'd interrogate you extensively. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/Jim. Use the code JIM to save $5 off at checkout. Boy, I love the fruity. I love the frost of the peanut butter. But boy, that cocoa, that stuff, I love the cocoa. Tastes so good.